I know I'm a bit late. Sorry for that. I wasn't ready for them to start the game right on time. We're 6 minutes after 11 a.m. and they're done with draft. I've never seen this before. VCS in a new era, a new year. It's 2024 and I'm back alone. It's just as in the days when it all started in 2019, 5 years ago. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of stuff happening in the last few weeks, so apologies for a little bit of a subdued broadcast today. I'm all alone, and let's see what's going to happen. I'm definitely going to cover the first series, also just out of personal interest, because my favorite player, my favorite team is playing, and I want to see the start of the VCS. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to do the second series today as well. Let's see how I'm feeling, how my voice is doing after Series 1. But once again, welcome everyone to this new year, this new exciting VCS season. We have crazy things happening. Of course, we're on 14.1, so new patch. That is already quite interesting. But then, even more so, we have a change in the format that I am so hyped for, and I'm hoping we're going to see it right in the first series. We have a one-on-one to decide site selection for map number 3 now. It's the same in PCS, I believe, and there have already been hilarious things happening in the PCS for this new rule that's also adopted now in the VCS, so I am so looking forward to the deciding 1v1 to see site selection. This is such an interesting little implementation, so yeah, let's see how it goes. And we're right into game 1. I kind of missed the draft here, so we're gonna skip into talk about the draft while it's going on later on, which in the game, of course, I'm alone, so we have a little bit more time to examine the draft. It's my first game on 14.1 in terms of casting as well, so let's see what's going to happen with that one. I've played a few games, so I'm not entirely unfamiliar with this. Of course, I've been following the esports as always, but in terms of casting, it's my first game as well. So if you're new to the new season, there are a lot of changes, especially to the map. As you can already see, this top-down view, or this very elaborate kind of zoning shot here, already shows you quite some of the differences, especially around the mid lane, where this bush has been moved quite a few paces, inches, whatever you want to call it, to the side, so it's a little bit harder to gank from the side into the mid lane. And we have big changes around the pits of Dragon and Baron. We also have big changes for the bottom lane, especially for the red side bottom lane. We've seen some games where it's just really hard to even just play the game for the red side bottom lane if they jungler doesn't help them and they get dove under tower. The new layout for the map, you can see it on the minimap there, means that there's like a gank path right into the bottom lane turret, and they can be zoned off experience, of gold, of everything, of CS for quite some time. So that's one of the biggest changes. Let's see if they make use of it. And yeah, let's have a look at how the early game is going. Of course, an early invade for Team Secret, and Kyang with a successful start here, forcing Guri to the other side. Guri, one of the hype players Molecule talked about, of course, was the jungler replacing BJ on Shogun's old team, but now moved this team, of course, new name, Vikings Esports, and they still have Shogun, they still have Guri, but they upgraded some other positions, and most importantly, there's Karti on this team now. Karti, of course, 6-time VCS champion, and I'm so excited for this change, not so much because I'm super hyped about Karti in himself, especially internationally. He has had some questionable performances, but of course he has dominated this league for such a long time, and he's the one player that has kind of challenged the Kiaya Levi angle of those two will always win the VCS, but because it has actually been him that's won all the titles, and Kiaya and Levi just alongside. So now they're finally separated again. We can see who is actually here to rule the VCS. And I believe if Karti wins this season, or the split I should say, he will tie with Levi. So there are quite a few stakes for this mid laner, formerly of GAM, and now on Vikings. Early on, no aggression more than anything we've seen. Let's actually talk a bit about the compositions. Varus super strong on this new season. Nika we've seen almost all the time. Syndra I've seen a few appearances, but of course is also a Kati comfort champion, and we can see him already doing super well into Eris and zoning him off experience. On the other side, Hasmid back on the Jax. A pick he has had mixed success on, I'd say, as kind of is case for almost all Hasmid champions, especially last year, where he had an up and down year, some really weak performances, not quite living up to his old glory. But let's see if he can get back to it here against Kratos, the former Team Secret top lane, and one of the hyped rookies, not quite rookies, but newer players, as one of the big prospects, and he has to perform if this team wants to be a title contender. We know Shogun is amazing. We know Kati has won the VCS so many times. Guri has shown a lot of potential. We're not sure about Kairi, but most of the time, solo queue supports, decent mechanics, can be led by some of the veterans on the team, should be fine. So it really depends on Kratos' performance here, if Viking wants to really contend, especially with the likes of Kiaya, because we know Kiaya is kind of the big blocker for all the new top laners. Hasmid never won a title in the VCS because he could never overcome Kiaya, only won one best of 5. So that's quite an issue for the top side. So yeah, we have to keep an eye on Kratos. And on the other side, of course, Team Secret mostly just the same core. Only the mid laner is a different face. So let's see what they can do. They were an exciting team too. That's why this first series is quite interesting. It's not quite Wales and Gum, the two representatives at Worlds, but it's kind of the tier below, and we don't know. Maybe Vikings, especially, as I'm having my eyes on them, because favorite player is playing there. Shogun, of course. I want him to win this title so badly. He has been deserving of being a champion in the VCS for such a long time. But on the other side, Taki, of course, his former partner and one of the best supports in the league, on the side of Team Secret. So a lot of really good players on this map so far, or in this match, I should say. And consequently, maybe nothing really has happened so far in the early game. We really see Kanti dominating the mid lane, but Eris keeping up in terms of CS. The Void Grubs have been slain, the first iteration of them. Kyang went to the top side. And this is quite important for Nocturne especially, because they give you quite a bit of experience. So Nocturne trying to get as to his level 6 mark as quickly as possible. And yeah, we can already see he's accelerated ahead of Guri. In terms of CS, he's almost double Guri CS, so this is quite a big gap in the jungle. The farming jungle style reigning supreme so far, which is unusual. We haven't seen much farming jungle action in other leagues, but here a little bit of an issue. Eris going in with the ultimate, but no follow-up there. But look at Guri, he's so insanely squishy. Double flash forced for mid-jungle. Vikings a lot of trouble. Now Kairi has to book it back to the bot lane. He should be fine. Not a lot of follow-ups to see coming in from Taki, I should say. But now this is the spot where the bot lane can really run into big trouble. Oh! We missed the first blood. Kyang flashing on top of Guri. Guri already used his flash in the escape, in the initial engagement. But now was a little bit left a little bit vulnerable, and instant first blood for one of the most exciting jungle prospects we've seen in a long while. Kyang, he really showed up last year. He showed us his fangs, and he will strike first blood in the new year in the VCS. Kratos might follow with second blood here. Good showing for him. Not quite able to get the kill. He's going to push out the lane, equalize CS advantages, and force Hasmid's flash. So maybe a little bit of an opportunity there. Guri, well, that was quite silly. I think he actually still had his flash, but Kyang with a follow-up flash. So Guri could have just backed away. That was a really risky play there to attempt to collapse on Eris when you didn't know where the Nocturne was hiding. A little bit of an over-aggressive play from Guri. We know him as an aggressive player, and we also know him to be a little bit more on the farming side. He's really comfortable on his AP farming junglers, and not so much on the ganking junglers. So, if history tells us anything, this is not the champion to really expect Guri to carry his team on, but hopefully he can turn it around later on in this game. 8 minutes in, and a 1k gold lead for Team Secret. I would like to see the individual gold leads. We can see the experience and levels on the side, which is a nice little addition. and Kratos, or Kratos, whatever you want to call him, is the highest level player in the game, which makes sense. Top lane, of course, more experience compared to the mid lane in terms of single lane experience. So the winning top laner should always be on top of the charts here. Young has his ultimate available, and he got first blood and the enemy jungler's flash without using his ultimate. So he could use two different approaches here. He could either try to use his ultimate to secure top lane priority when the grubs respawn, or he could go for a counter gank like this. This is a little bit risky, but he has a lot of damage. There's the shield from the Lorcan, and now he's in trouble. Doesn't have his flash to get away, and that he was punished so heavily for his over-aggression now in turn. And Guri, he has his ultimate. He used his ultimate early, but that's a great counter gank from Vikings. Too much of a single-minded focus on Kati. Kati got away with 100 HP, the shield from Kyrie paying dividends there, kind of out-tarking Taki on the other side, and suddenly the game is back to even, and crucially, Kyung lost his advantage in the jungle. Guri will catch up quite easily now. Kati, the stronger mid laner, and he spotted that minion ambush attempted by Eris and completely eliminated Eris from the play. As you can see, Eris just can't follow up, and then it's just the jungler into 3 people. Taki is here, but he's not strong enough. He's not really the follow-up CC you would hope for. He's not a Rakan. He's more of a defensive champion here. And Waltz as well, because he overextended to try and save his jungler. So very good collapse from Vikings. Back to even. Now the big point of contention are those voice grubs number 2. And they will spawn, so no 5 stacks for one side, which is the most important kind of threshold in the early stages of the game. No one will have a huge advantage, especially later on with the Baron. But here we see the changes to the bot lane coming into fruition. This is where Kati's in a really difficult spot. You can't just walk back from your turret to the second turret. You're kind of just trapped under the tower here. And now he's just going to go down. Can he do anything against this? There's the spell shield. Really nice timing from Kyung. Varus gets the kill, and easy execution there. Nice cross map to punish the void grabs, and especially in this kind of scenario, where the void grabs were only kind of taken as a countermeasure to Team Secret's snowballing, because they took the first 3. They Vikings, that is, didn't really get that much of an advantage from taking those 3 grabs. It was mostly denial. So the enemy team just got away with free gold, free platings on the bot lane, and just a little bit of an advantage again accrued for the side of Team Secret, especially in the bottom lane. Yeah, Guri is so squishy on this champion, it's insane. Look at this Jarvan. This is not the scary Jarvan you've played against in solo queue. He's going quite for an aggressive build here. The, what's it called again? That's one of the new component items I have not been really up to date with, because I don't really play bruises. It's the driller or something, so it definitely is for drilling into the ground, and all the bruises buy this item, but I can't remember the name of it. So we can see both of the junglers and Asmid starting out with this component item. On the other side, Kratos with an interesting item choice there. This is the new top lane, a favorite top lane item, because it's the AP version of the Sunfire. So this will kind of do the same thing. You can do the same thing, just push out waves, deal AoE damage the longer you're on combat, but it gives you MR instead of armor, which on the first glance seems like a little bit of an interesting choice into the likes of Jax. Of course, Jax almost 50-50 when it comes to damage, but especially with the early purchases leaning more into the AD side, I would expect him to still be dealing a little bit more AD damage. So this first item is a little bit of a surprise to me. Not entirely sure what Kratos' reasoning is here, especially considering that Kyung is also AD, so even if he gets ganked, the added AP doesn't really do much for him. And the ADC is also dealing mostly AD damage. So this is a really curious choice. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there in Kratos' mind to lead him to the AP version of the Sunfire Cape. But so far it's serving him well in the lane at least. He's up CS, he's up 1 plate, I believe, or at least even in plates, and dominating this matchup. Yeah, almost 2 plates here. You can see Husmet is really struggling to even stay in lane. He has to use his teleport quite offensively, going back into lane, and Kratos will zone him. Is not afraid of taking 1 tower shot, not a problem for him either. So really dominant top lane performance so far from the side of Kratos against his former team. Everything else seems to be mostly even. But we have another fascinating new item that I really want to talk about. That is the first item for Qiang, Hexblade. Let me find the name. It's for champions that really rely heavily on your ultimate, and what other champion comes to mind than Nocturne? He's the #1 champion this helped, probably, in the game. I've seen it on Tryndamere as well. It was really scary to see on Tryndamere. But this item, upon ultimate activation, it will give you a lot of attack speed, and of course it also cuts down your ultimate cooldown. So everything a Nocturne wants, gets him more sticking power, more dueling power. You already like to play Lethal Tempo on this champion because you can stack it up so easily and just follow up on the plus 60 AD you get from the Q. The more attack speed, insanely valuable for this champion. It's the dream of an item, and really propelled Nocturne into prime position so far in this season. We've seen a lot of Nocturne hovers, a lot of Nocturne bans as well, and of course he's already the favorite champion of almost all the VCS junglers, so it makes a lot of sense that we see this item now. And this champion, of course. We have the Rifthold, which I think is a little bit on the lower side of priority so far in the new season, because it's essentially just the second Rifthold. Still, Vikings doesn't want to let it go, and Guri overstepped horribly, just into the dark, had no idea what was going on, jumped into 4 people and gets punished instantly, doesn't even get to flash her ultimate out of there, so a really, really big oversight for the jungler of Vikings. Gives Team Secret another objective and even more of a golden kill lead. So far, Team Secret really looking like the stronger, the more well-coordinated team in the early game, and Guri a little overexcited for the start of this season. There's so many AP items. I'm still trying to find this item in my list here of new items, but just had to scroll through so many AP items of the new season. So, I mean, there it is. Experimental Hexblade, 3,000 gold. The Tunneler was the component he used, and 55 AD, which super nice, 20% attack speed, even better on the likes of Nocturne. And you kind of only get those stat distribution on crit items, or you used to get those, which don't really do anything for Nocturne. So the stat distribution is just a dream for this champion. We even get a little bit of health, so that's even better for a diving, bruiserish champion. And then obviously 30 ultimate haste and 35 attack speed and 15% bonus movement speed when you activate your ultimate. So it's essentially just an artificial Cloud Soul. So you're buying a Cloud Soul for a champion that loves to use his ultimate and loves to fight with his ultimate active. It's just the dream item for Nocturne. He's probably the single best champion to use this item. I actually experimented with this on Zeri, and it felt really, really interesting and good as well. Makes her tanky. Not sure if that's the thing we are going to see throughout the season. I liked it. I saw it on Tryndamere, which also really looked insanely strong. I can see it on stuff like Vayne, maybe, as a late item. A little bit of resistance, and then also more ultimate usage. So, yeah. Champions where the ultimate is more of like a buff than an actual ability in itself, or both, like Nocturne. Those seem to be the ones that profit the most. Maybe Jax comes to mind as well. Jax could kind of use it as well. Just get stronger, get the resistances under his belt, and then go to town. But I could see it on that kind of champion as well. This is the new Rifthold, which you can drive, and Kyrie is in an interesting position. He's trying to flank, now he's trying to walk away. This is, once again, trying to out-Taki. This is really what we saw so many times from the former support of Shogun. So maybe Shogun told his new support a trick or two of his old veteran support on the other side, because this really is the Rakan classic, just way behind enemy lines. He didn't find the engage here, and Vikings is really struggling to hold up. They will hold on to their mid tower for now, but they will give up mid and river pressure. So second dragon for the side of Secret, and Secret looking like the stronger team. in the mid game, but there's very, very little between these teams. Very little to separate the two. So for now, it's a very even. And I was just being made aware that I changed the title. There was so much to get done before the stream, so apologies. I'll adjust the title of the stream in a second. Forgot about that one. But yeah, we are in season 20, or in 2024, season 14. So obviously this is not summer playoffs. This is spring split, winter split, whatever they call it here. I think spring split. Only LEC they call their first split winter split. And week 1, game 1, day 1. Everything we just jumped into the VCS. This is literally the first action we've seen all year for this league. All right, we were doing a podcast before, so that is quite important to change right now. Apologies, you can see the action, but once again, it's not a lot is happening. It's just slowly but surely Team Secret is using their side lane advantages and their overall mid pressure to invade, to put Qiang on threatening positions and just get more and more control over the map. It's now a 2k gold lead, 2 dragons, so Team Secret slowly, I wouldn't say call it running away with the game, but at least getting a solid advantage for themselves. The crucial points in the game will definitely be the dragon number 3 and 4, or 4 and 5 I should say, as we have a little bit of action for Qiang and Kratos overstepped, and that's a gifted kill to Hasmed, yet another one. On the other side though, what is Eddie doing in the middle of everyone? That's a big shutdown to the side of Kati, and Eris in a little bit of trouble there, gets away, uses his clone very craftily to get out of this sticky situation, but that's a nice kill over to Kati. He didn't even have to use anything there. Kairi was only Shogun's ultimate and flash they used to catch Eddie off guard. Now Eddie's flash cleanse, and ghost I should say, down. Qiang is behind enemy lines as well. The game has just evolved into chaos in those 2 seconds here, and a little bit of int from Vikings I can talk about in a second there. But yeah, back to 4 and 4, back to almost even position, and suddenly we're back to a game that could go quite late here, because no team really has a big advantage coming into the mid and late game. Vikings did something that I have seen a few times, because people are not quite, I guess, as used to the new changes. Killing the red buff right before the 20-minute mark, right before the Baron spawn, is a little bit of an in-play, because of course, once they... Oh, Hasmed trying to find an angle here. There's a teleport to get out of the sticky situation for the side of Kati, and he will make it out. So teleport traded for teleport, not a huge deal. Teleport a little bit more valuable, maybe on Hasmed's side, so maybe even a trade up from Vikings, who will force Hasmed to just stay a little bit closer to the rest of his team. But the only objective spawning in the time of the teleport is the Cloud Drake, so maybe Vikings can equalize the Dragon's score, and then we will truly look at an even game at 24-23 minutes. Very exciting start of the season. No big stomp coming in. Both of these teams seem to be evenly matched for the most part. Even the CS numbers, the only big advantage we can really see is the mid lane, where Kati dominated Eris, kind of expected matchup, and then also a super veteran player into a newer player. Kairi is looking for something. They haven't spotted him, I believe, but now he has an angle on Eddie. Maybe he can counteract. Still looking for it. Kratos trying to escape. Kratos getting lower and lower, but he's out of there. Now Kairi finds the engage on Eddie. No one's really close enough to deal damage, but Eddie also has to be careful. But there it is. Already Team Secret is advancing and trying to chase down the Viking members. Guri will fall. Only surviving member is Kati, and out of nowhere, 4-for-1 trade for the side. No, 4-for-0 trade even for Secret. I just said this game was going to come down to late game, maybe a dragon fight, and now they will take the Baron and really get into the winning position for game number 1. What a great collapse. Using Eddie and Taki a little bit as a bait there, really enticing Vikings to counter-engage into them because they knew they had the range advantage, that the enemy carries couldn't really get close enough to Eddie, even without any defensive summoners for their ADC. It's a really nice position in there. Also, I think, where they chose to fight in terms of terrain, just very smart with their composition. They have a line disengaged with Taki and Eddie, of course, with their ultimates. So those two are really, really hard to get onto. You can see Kairi is there, but no one really can follow up, even using Shogun's ultimate aggressively, which backfires horribly as they instantly collapse on Shogun, and the Zarya falls, no damage remaining. Kati can't really contribute anything either, just on his own. So, really nice collapse there from Secret, and already showing really, really good teamfight coordination, which is... yeah, which is good to see. Team Secret, one of the teams that has in the past struggled with team fights a bit. They were always a strong early game team with decent macro and map movements, but they usually lost to the better team fighting teams. And speaking of losing to the better team fighting teams, there's the collapse, but it's a 1-for-1. There is striking back. This will halt the Baron push and kind of put the game into a little bit of a freeze at 4k gold lead for Team Secret. It is a big advantage, but it's not quite game winning yet. So they will have to hold off to the next big fight win to really put a stamp onto this game, to really look at home and win game number 1 in this VCS season. So, we have some more new items coming in with... oh, there's Eddie, once again in trouble, but Kati just executes Taki on the way out. So, that's a nice little kill for Kati. He really is the strong point for the side of Vikings. A lot of burst damage. Eddie has to be careful. I expect him... yep, there it is. There is the anti-mage item, of course, with the Wits and... with a little bit of MR. I think it's 50 on this item. It's a pure attack speed item now, no AD on this item. They removed the AD. It had a little bit of a weird stat line, so now it really is an on-hit anti-AP item with a lot of on-hit damage. I think the single highest on-hit effect in the game, level 18, you get 80 on-hit damage. That is so much more than all the other items. If you compare it to the new on-hit item that is 30... then Rageblade is 30 as well. Almost all of them have 30 on them. And this item is 80, more than double. So it's quite a strong late game on-hit effect, especially combined with all the others. So Eddie is really going to dish out the damage. 3 of his core items completed. Let's see if we can see the weird new on-hit item, which will give him a little bit more tankiness and penetration. So they kind of shifted the old mythic effect from the Rageblade onto this new item, which I'm not sure if Eddie is going to build. But on the other side, we have the new Luden's Companion. One of the changes that really threw me off, because it just turned Ludens into a gun. It kind of still does the almost exact same thing as before, so this looks like a new item. And then, of course, one of the big points of the new season, one of the items people have complained about the most because it just moved the needle in terms of bursts itemization a little bit too far to the other side. It's so easy to burst people now with a Storm Surge, I would default. Both of the mid laners have Storm Surge in their inventory, and what this item does is if you burst a person for 30% AP, per 30% of their HP, you will strike them with additional damage. So a lot of the burst mages that just need that tiny bit more damage will buy this item, and then that item actually brings them to a threshold where they can execute a lot of people. We've seen this on Akali quite a few times. I've seen it on Silas in my solo queue games, where The damage is just insane. He hits you with one spell and you die. So this really, it's a strong snowball item, but in general, it's just a really good item. Very good stat lines. And 100 AP, it gives you magic pen, it even gives you movement speed, so really everything any AP champ will desire. Yeah, and both of these mid laners now with this item. We have Trinity also for the Jax, so almost a little bit of an old school Jax build. And the game has come to a little bit of a standstill. Vikings still trailing quite heavily. We need to see a few more items for Shogun for him to really be able to turn this game around. Of course, he has to be super careful. So many dive threats, and especially the Nocturne is super annoying for Isaiah because his E, if he uses it correctly, as we see the insane burst damage of Syndra on this patch. Yep, nothing to see here, just Syndra things. DIY's back, I guess. But yeah, back to the Zarya. She's in a lot of trouble against the Nocturne, because if Nocturne connects his E before she ults, and then she can't ult far enough away, she will still get feared, which kind of undermines what the ultimate is supposed to do for you, reset the fight, get you back into good position. So his team really has to play around his range of attack and the enemy team's threat range insanely well to help him out here. That is an over-engage from Kairi and really nice flash away from Eddie. Kairi dies on the spot. A little bit too aggressive. Vikings in general, this game just look really, really aggressive. Look like they want to force the issue, want to fight whenever they can. Typical VCS style. And Kairi fits in nicely. This Baron start is a bit risky. It's a 5v4 on the map. Where in the hell is Eddie? Why? Ah, it's Ares. Okay, never mind. Of course, it's Ares on his flank. Now you got spotted. I think the Baron is going down, but maybe they can punish if they can kill Ares. What? The Baron on 2 HP. Guri just flashes over and takes the Baron. That was one of the biggest blunders I've ever seen. Everyone just stopped hitting the Baron. They thought the Baron was dead. Oh my god, we need a replay, we need a slow motion. That Baron dropped to 20 HP or something. Just no one wanted to last hit this thing. And a horrible, horrible steal in favor of Viking for Team Secret. This will reset the whole game. Yes, they will get this Cloud Soul, which still brings them to a stronger combat position, but they were supposed to end the game of this Baron. Now, that is out of the window at Vikings. More time to scale, more time to bring Shogun to a stronger point. Kratos to maybe an item breakpoint where you can even dive into the backline and threaten Eddie 1v1. So, this is really bad for the side of Team Secret. Now, Hasmet against Kratos. Hasmet has to run away. I think Kratos actually had lethal there if he chases. He was a little bit disturbed by how strong the counterattack was there by Jax, but I think it was almost over. So let's look at this again. 1 HP, it heals back to 14. Oh my. That is one of the most unfortunate things I've ever seen. 1 HP. And you could feel the dread in Kyung when he moved back. Like his character shuffled back 2 paces towards the Baron just to hit it. One hit would have been enough. One ability, anything, but he was too far away already, and Guri just flashes in there, steals it away with a smite. Ay ay ay. Now we are really moving into the later stage of the game. Finally, Vikings able to break the mid tower with the Baron. Look at the gold, it's almost even. We can almost throw it out of the window. Look at the item breakpoints instead. And Kratos is assembling some really scary items. These items look so cool. I don't know why, but something about his inventory just looks so cool to me. This purple-blue kind of fade from the full purple into full blue. Just very aesthetically pleasing to me. Tank items this season have gotten a major glow up, not just in just itemization in general, also just in style. I really like the new designs. And yeah, he's gonna be a big threat. If he gets on top of Eddie, yes, Eddie is one of the best champions to deal with high HP targets, of course. On-hit Varus has quite a lot of damage to deal with those. But still, he brings a lot of CC, he brings slows, he brings AoE damage, so maybe he can buy enough time for Kati and Guri to follow up. and burst Eddie out of existence. Yeah, and 3 items done now for Shogun. We all know about late game Zarya. She is here now. She's not going to get any weaker, and she's going to have to be something they put into the equation as well. On the other side, Qiang, he was maybe the star of the show at the early game, chasing down for first blood. He went for a little bit of a tankier route. That is most commonly what people do in pro play, of course. A lot of HP to work with, not a lot of resistances. He's starting to build some resistances now, so he really wants to do his bruiser duty and just chase people down, which of course has great synergy with his Hexblade. So this Nocturne, you can't ignore him, but I feel like on this item point, especially one more item for Shogun, you should be able to deal one-on-one with Nocturne just fine with 4 crit items with Bloodthirster. So we're kind of walking into territory where the Nocturne alone can't dominate fights, can't really play with positioning as easily anymore, and this will cut down Team Secret's engage strength quite a bit, because of course this Nocturne doesn't really have another follow-up engager. Sure, Jax can flash E into the enemy backline, but it's a risky move, and especially into the likes of Zarya, not that advisable. And then their support just isn't an engaged champion, so this is going to get a little bit harder to play, especially for Qiang, and he really can show us what he's made of in terms of late game team fighting positioning on this Bruiser champion. Bring it. League of Legends as well, as we have the team fight, so no time for me to change the stream title. That's a huge pop blossom, but only hits 1, and Shogun, in a great position, has a lot of feathers, flashes out against Hasmet, and Hasmet doesn't have his E now, so now Shogun ready to fire against him, but he gets eliminated. Hasmet with a huge shield. Where did the shield come from? Yuri's trying to extend the fight. Everyone has fallen down. Kratos, he has to be careful, he still doesn't have his resistances, so he's quite squishy, and in the end it's a 3-for-2. Arky and Hasmet walking away from the fight. Team Secret lose the fight, but Shogun uses absolutely everything. Both flashes blown from Kati and Shogun. They will be a little bit more vulnerable in the next fight, but everything on the other side used as well. Can Guri chase them down? He has quite a bit of damage, but not enough, really, to chase and kill Hasmet. So in the end, everyone just walks away. Nothing really happens. The Elder Dragon is coming up, and map position should be advantageous for Vikings after this fight, which means they will have a first good look at setting up vision, setting up flank positions around the big dragon coming up. On the other hand, though, there is a Baron on the map as well, so we could be in for some Baron against Elder Dragon shenanigans, and let's see if either of the teams prefer one to the other. There's the replay. A little bit late into the fight, we can see the Pop Blossom really didn't land, and I think Shogun flashed a bit too early. He kind of had to, but then he gets too close to Hasmet, and not the greatest kiting from Shogun there. A bit over-aggressive onto Hasmet, and Hasmet just with so much presence, so hard to play ADC into late-game Jax. And yeah, in the end, that's a 1-for-1 trade. I would have liked to see the other side of the fight, because I didn't actually really follow what happened to Eddie. Probably fell to an engage from the other side, from Kairi, Kati, and Kratos. But no time to ponder over that, because there's the big dragon on the field. Kati, that's all the engaged tools on Kati, but he still gets caught by the Pop Blossom. He's alive. Can he fire his ultimate? That's the most important part. Kati eliminated. On the other side, Kratos chasing into the backline, where there's so much going on. Hasmet has to disengage. Shogun this time healthier. Kratos runs away from the other side. Low health bars, but 5 people alive from Team Secret. They're trying to get a little bit more HP back under the belt. And now this positioning battle in favor of Secret. Kratos trying to look for an angle to TP. He's waiting in base. Now the TP is coming in. On the other side, Hasmet also reinforcing his lines with the TP. Full HP back, trying to find the flank. But Kairi is really nicely marking him. He's lost him now. And Shogun very close to the dragon. So there's Hasmet. He looks for the ADC. Shogun has his ultimate available now, though. And this is a nice counter engage. Hasmet almost dead. Hasmet is going to die. Kratos hits a huge Counter engage, and there's errors. It's pure chaos from both sides, but Shogun goes down into the GA first. Kiang, 1 HP. He's still alive. He's walking. There's Guri. That was not actually Shogun. That was Guri. And Hasmid is still on the other side. Shogun is trying his damnedest to kite away. The dragon turns away. He's still alive. Errors needs one little ability. There it is. Oh, it's back and forth. The dragon is still trying to fight his way out of this fight as well. 5k HP. Guri re-engaging now. Kati will help him out. This dragon will somehow go to Vikings, it looks like. But most of their players are dead, so it's only a 2-player Elder Dragon buff. This should tide them over to the Baron, but then maybe they can use the Baron to close out this game. It's crazy town out here. First game of the VCS, we have 29 kills. That's actually not that much for 38 minutes, but we are going all the way to all the late game objectives, and, well, next stop is the Baron, I suppose. Yeah, apologies for some of the awkward pauses. That's, I had to calm down a bit after that one, but we are straight back into the action. Team Secret trying to use the back window for Vikings to start the Baron, but this Baron is quite tanky. They gave it a little bit more bulk in the new season, and Guri is already here, so this is very risky. They're playing against 2 Elder Dragon buffs. Flash and Ultimate available for Shogun. Flash and Ultimate also available for Eddie and Eris on the other side, so all the carries ready to go. I feel like it's a bit ill-advised to fight into 2 Elder Dragon buffs. Yes, it's only 2, but that's still more than nothing. So Team Secret would be well off to try and stall out this big buff. Maybe it's too risky for Vikings for themselves to engage onto the Baron, especially with this new wall in front of the Baron pit. One of the 3 new Baron pits. This one will really make it hard for the likes of Syndra and Zarya to leave. They want to also hit the Baron, so very risky business there. But Shogun is starting it up. I think they spotted Shogun hitting the Baron, so the Baron is under siege. 3 people trying to zone off and spot Team Secret, and it's going down quite quickly. Young is trying to look for an angle. There is the ultimate, and they're healing off Baron. Kratos just staying in. Oh, the steal on the other side. This time Kiang gets in there. Somehow he got an angle in there, and the fight is still going. 1-for-1 so far. Team Secret on the wrong side of the map. Can they walk away? It looks like Viking is not super into chasing them. So the next objective goes to Secret, and now they are on the map with the longer lasting and stronger objectives. So the ball is back into their court. We are playing tennis right now. We're in Vietnam, not in Melbourne, so Australian Open is going on over in Australia, but I think the VCS is definitely putting one step forward to have the best tennis match of the day today, because this is quite an insane combat, quite an insane contest as well. And yeah, I've no idea who's going to win this one. How did he get in there? Hasmid with the super clutch ward, and I think the enemy team can't see the ward being placed because of the darkness. So they thought they were secure in the Baron pit. They thought the enemy jungler couldn't get in there, but because of the ward, he could ultimate to one of the people in the Baron pit and then smite it away. So smart from the side of Secret. Great coordination in the middle of chaos from Hasmid and Kiang. That's so good to see. Those little micro plays, those are the things we live for here. And yeah, we keep going. 5 items for the side, 4.5 items I should say, for Shogun, and for his top laner Kratos, insanely strong. 5 items done for Eddie, who went into a little bit of defense. 2 crit items with a full on-hit build. A little awkward, not the highest DPS build for the side of Eddie, but a lot of safety now with QSS and the extra shield from the shield bow. So yeah, I'm a little bit worried that his damage output could be too low. He doesn't have any sort of penetration against Kratos, so if Kratos stays in his tanky form, I don't think Varus can really do much against him. So yeah, let's see how the damage stacks up. Nico, of course, late game, she does deal a lot of burst damage, but not the highest DPS. So really, I'm concerned for Secret in terms of their DPS compared to the full crit Shogun, and then also Kati is quite a bit to add to the fight. Ever since the Syndra rework, she really became more of a late game DPS Yeah, just control mage, so definitely has the higher damage output in terms of DPS compared to the Nico as well. Also, much, much stronger in this game. So 40 minutes in, we finally break the base turret, and Vikings, I don't think they're too concerned. At 42 minutes, one inhibitor doesn't really do anything, so even if they lose this inhibitor against the Baron buff, who really cares? It doesn't really do much, but also Team Secret will have to overextend a bit into this dangerous terrain. Get close to the inhibitor. Losing 2 inhibitors, however, is quite a different thing. So, Asmid with the siege on the top lane, that puts Vikings into precarious position. They will have to look for an engage soon. Yuri. Oh, quite a lot of damage on Ares. And Ares, what have you done? Ares with horrible positioning has to flash away, has to Zonya, so Ares almost out of the fight. And now Vikings with an opportunity to fight back. But Kyrie is the first to go down. Qiang follows. And Ares can't really fight. He has to TP back. His TP is almost off cooldown, so that's what he wants to do. Shogun, oh, the flash from Eddie. He's trying to follow up on Shogun, but that was too much, Eddie. That was way too far forward. But he gets the revive. He gets stunned. And now Shogun back. Oh, 1-for-1 in the ADC. Ares is coming back, and he gets on top of Cardi. That should be the kill. And this should be game number 1 for Team Secret. They're so close to closing it out. This was not expected after Ares' horrible overstep. He uses the TP to come back into this game. Kratos, he gets the killing blow on Ares. Kratos, he has to kill Hasmid if they want to have any chance of... Oh, and he gets the shutdown. The game will go on. It's just the support. Kati will not be able... Taki, what I am saying to Kati. Taki will definitely not be able to finish this game. Kratos, the hero. And 43 minutes in, only 1 inhibitor fell. It's back to even. I mean, not quite even, I guess. Secret is still in a winning position. They will still have a much, much easier time fighting for objectives. They will always have the threat of backdooring now. But Vikings hold on. 1 team fight win is all they need. And Eddie used absolutely everything in that fight, so he's much more vulnerable. He flashed forward, tried to kill Shogun, and that was maybe a bridge too far. If it weren't for Taki's W, the game would have probably ended there, because Eddie really overextended, but he got revived with the... Bailout? Yeah, it's called Bailout, right. So that was quite important in the fight, and Kyrie is first at the dragon, which means they will have full vision. Whoever wins this dragon is in a really good position for the next team fight, but then again, if Team Secret can somehow avoid the enemy team and just walk into their base, maybe they can do something with this position. It's too late for that now, and now Qiang, and he's steal again. He's in there. No, he doesn't get the dragon. This should be the end of Qiang. He does have a lot of time to buy with his Guardian Angel. He doesn't actually have to use it, but there is the engaged. Kati gets caught. That's not a lot of damage for Ares, and now Ares in a horrible position. Kratos on the other side gets the first instance, and look at the base though, look at the base. Hasmid actually made use of this exposed Nexus, and the Nexus goes down. The camera pans to the Nexus. They made it happen. They backdoored against the Elder Dragon. There it is. That's always the tricky part about Elder Dragon. You don't get the Baron recall, and Vikings win the fight, but they lose the war and lose game number 1. What a start into the season. Team Secret will just need 1 more game to win their first series of the new year. Yep, that is VCS action for you. And yeah, I'm quite happy to be here for game number 1. What an insane first game of the day. I will have to cut to a pause because I need to catch my breath. So, that is game number 1. Let's hope we get another one. I really want to see the deciding game, tiebreaker thingy, the one-on-one action if we go to 1-1. So, Vikings, come on, you can do it. I want to see it. And, I mean, anyone could have won this game. Really good coordination from Team Secret. Very impressive to see. This is VCS.
I hope that we were muted for that.
We were muted for that, but not muted for that right now. But yeah, unfortunately, we're not in summer 2023, so forgive my using the transitions last split. We are in draft though for game number 2, and I got a little bit of assistance for this second game. Welcome back, Carrix.
Hello, we're back. We're back to our roots. Truly unorganized and just jumping straight in.
There we are, indeed.
We've got Vikings. A team that everyone's very excited about, though perhaps they don't need to brush up on their home security, leaving their back door unlocked like that.
Wait, what?
They got backdoored last time.
Ah, right. Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, we've seen this so many times, right? You go to Elder Dragon, you win the fight, but the enemy team just walks past you. We're back in 2019 now. It's lovely to see. Best year of League.
I mean, true. Vara's first pick.
Yep.
I mean, I know I am not surprised by it, but at the same time, it still kind of weirds me out. Particularly in the VCS.
It's not the first time ever in the history of League, right? Like, Varus has been a strong pick before. First pick is quite early, yeah, that's true. We could have first picked Ashe or something along the lines of that. We haven't seen Udyr here in the VCS. I mean, we've only seen one game, so that is not a sample size I should talk about, but insanely high prior pick over in the LCK. Hasn't been played in the LEC at all, so very different reads and the different... Yeah.
Just slammed, okay.
So Belweth is mostly picked for the early grubs, right? Because she takes them so quickly, she can dominate the early fights as well. So she will also clear much faster than the Jarvan. So it's mostly to snowball the early game, which is kind of the exact opposite of what Belweth was supposed to be when she was released. Which, yeah, I'm not sure how this happens to League champions so often. She was designed as a late-game hyper-scaling monster, and now it's just a early-game fighter. But it is what it is.
Riot's a small indie company. Party getting his LeBlanc as well. This is a champion he's been traditionally very, very strong on. Of course, an abomination of a champion at the moment, but regardless, Vikings will be happy about securing that one.
Yeah, AD LeBlanc is unfortunately running rampant again. Carti completely destroyed Eris and Lane, and yeah, let's see if he can do the same again. Once again has the counter matchup for himself, or at least the matchup he picked for himself, so he should be able to play this really comfortably and yeah, try to attack Eris and Laney face, try to get another 50 CS lead like he did in the last game. And maybe he can win the game this time around as well. His Syndra looked strong. I think he was the best performing player on the team. So if the LeBlanc follows suit, then yeah, we have seen AD LeBlanc just do unspeakable things to backlines. So not out of the question there.
Throwing down the gauntlet as well, Kratos picking the Aatrox up against Husband. Husband, of course, one of the best Aatroxes in the VCS historically. Does he just throw the Yone straight back into it? Give the young fella a lesson.
Risky. I mean, it's Husband after all, so his top lane performances, especially over the last year or so, have been very up and down. Quite shaky sometimes, and he got kind of stomped by Kratos last game, so I'm not entirely sure if I agree with this. Yone Hui, as our first game together this year, would be a little bit of a surprise, but no, of course we have our mid laners already, but Hui was actually played support 2 games by Beryl over in the LCK, so could be a last pick Hui for the side of Vikings, but instead looks like a solid old Braum.
Braum interesting here. Not. I mean, look, Braum is never terrible. I feel, but I'm not 100% sure what he's being picked into. There's nothing he's really cancelling with the door.
He's really, really strong in lane into Nautilus, always has been. Much tankier than Nautilus, and if Nautilus engages on him, they can counter, they can like just chase him down, make sure that Nautilus just dies on the attempt. So you have to be very careful if you play Nautilus into Braum not to overextend into him, because there's no way out. Slows, stuns, especially paired with the Ashe. Really dangerous. And then, yeah, late game, I guess, Varus. Just stand in front of Varus and laugh at him because he can't kill you. That's probably the best you can do. I like the lane though. Like Ashe Braum on the red side is gonna be so hard to overcome and dive. We have seen so many red side bot lanes struggle with this new map setup. So just securing a safe, solid, hard to dive bot lane on the red side, I think, is high priority right now in 2020.
How much of an impact do you really think that has? Just like while we're waiting for the game to start, I want to pick your brain. Because traditionally, obviously, the map has always been different on both sides. It's never been an exact mirror. But I don't think it's affected draft, like, oh, this ADC is good on blue side, but maybe not on red side or vice versa. Do you think we've entered a territory where that's true now?
I don't think it has affected draft as much as it probably should. And I think it's gonna affect draft more in the future if they don't change anything about the map again, because yeah, so far I agree. In most leagues I've just seen ADCs traded essentially like before, just okay, these ADCs are good, so we want one and you get the other. But yeah, I think it's gonna play a bigger role, especially when it comes to later, like Summer Split, the Worlds, when everyone is super accustomed with these changes and actually knows what's going on. Because I really think this bot lane change is probably the biggest change in the map, maybe apart from the Baron pit, that really can change some of the games as well.
I think top lane is also a pretty big change. You just can't gank top anymore.
Yeah, but no one cares about top lane in pro play, though. You know.
That is true. That is very true.
Because, yeah, some of the games I've seen, in especially in the higher level leagues, sometimes it's just you get your jungler fails to time the counter gank in bot lane correctly, and the game is just over because your lane can't play the game. They can't even enter their laning phase. And it has never been this bad, even on red side bot lane, because usually you could just walk back from your turret to the other turret, right? As we have once again an invade from Kyung on the top side.
Yeah, we've got it. We have a bit of a biffo breaking out as Team Secret using the early power of the Bel'Veth, just taking away all those chickens. Guri starting from behind. Moves straight into mid lane as well. Cardi has to flash, knew the W was on cooldown. Great stuff out of Kyung.
Yeah, and the exact same early game as in game one. Same position, same thing happened. Early game invade on the top side. They're on the same sides, both teams, so a little bit of laziness from Vikings. Because, I mean, it literally just happened to you in the last game, so maybe the preparation should have been a bit better coming into game number 2, and especially blowing the flash from Carti there. Very sloppy.
Yeah, 100%. This also does mean that this early red side quote-unquote weakness that we were talking about, not going to have an impact just due to the fact that Kyung is down on that side of the map. Guri is going to have to clear up towards his red. I think that this is just a really, really good start for Secret.
Yeah, dominant start indeed, and now there's so much time for Kyung to just full clear. That's what this champion wants to do early anyway. Wait for the grubs to spawn, then focus on those, probably with a level advantage, with a little bit of an item lead as well, so it's all going according to plan. This is exactly what this champion wants to do, and it also goes a long way to stabilize Eris's lane. Just take a little bit of the edge off the matchup, especially after he got stomped in the last game in the laning phase. Just make it a little bit harder for Carti to play super aggressively, buy time for the mid laner to scale, and give Kyung all the space he needs.
Kyung hovering around this top side. They want to try and find a way in onto Carti as soon as that W's down, and he's just going to die!
Yep, there it is. That's the flash blown early, and here's a little bit of an attempt at the bot lane.
As Eddie is exhausted. Clean's already used, Shogun answering with one of his own as Taki playing it really well, flashes forward for the hook, another flash for the Varus, but he survives on a sliver of HP. Eddie's in the minion wave, will go down!
What a The skirmish in the bot lane here, 2v2 action, and in the end, it's that little bit of tankiness that the Braum has over all the other champions. One of the most naturally tanky, maybe the most naturally tanky champion in the game. And Ashe, of course, just a tiny bit more range, 25 more range. The slows coming together. It was such a close affair, but in the end, that's a huge kill for Shogun. They could really snowball this lane. If they find a few engages now with this slow stacking up, no flashes available for the side of Team Secret, any overstep will be an instant chase down.
Yeah, and it was really lovely there by Kairi. I'm sure we'll see it when we get to that side of the replay, but the exhaust time. We'll start in mid.
Whoa. Something happened with the mic there. Apologies, but here we see a replay of the bot lane again. Eddie gets stunned, but unfortunately Shogun is not really in range to follow up. His cleanse may be a little bit late as well. He does cleanse the ignite, which plays a huge role in his surviving this onslaught later. And Eddie, of course, look at all the minions focusing him. All those minions are contributing in its early game, so they deal quite a lot of damage. So actually, in the end, it's a minion management problem and a little bit of an overextension into the enemy wave for Eddie. That's his demise.
What's actually crazy as well is Kairi committed the cardinal sin. He flashed in a straight line against Varus. He just happened to time it perfectly that he was in the flash intangibility as the arrow passed through him, so he'd survived on that 1 HP. And had that proc, it's probably a triumph, and it goes very differently.
Yeah, that's very true. So, a super close affair in the bot lane, and let's see how it evolves here. I would really expect Vikings to now play a little bit more with their wave management, try to freeze, try to deny some CS, because yeah, you can see Nautilus is not going to be a factor in this lane anymore. It's so hard for him to do anything into the Braum, any overstep and he's going to die. Maybe Eris can help though, as Guri, level 4, a little bit early maybe to start the dragon. Uncontested, he could do it, but here's Kyung.
Collapsed on. Kyung coming down is really focused on Shogun. They're going to try and turn onto Guru, but in comes the Pop Blossom. They find the damage. Down goes Shogun. Kairi follows him. And Vikings are sent back on the longboats.
And that's a certified 2024 gank. That would not have been possible last year, but this tiny little way...
Oh, to the top lane we go.
Yeah, Hasmid. Maybe the ultimate wasn't necessary. He could have just lived with a little bit of advantage. And unfortunately, Aatrox is a really annoying champion. You almost kill him and suddenly he's back to 300 HP. So now it's Hasmid who has to leave lane first and Kratos gets to push out the lane and have a little bit of an advantage. But it doesn't really change anything in the top lane matchup for now. Bit annoying for Hasmid to use his flash there to escape the tower shot. So now he's a little bit more vulnerable. Maybe an area of attack for Vikings to come back into the game, because so far it has been Team Secret who have dominated this early game.
It absolutely has been, and in particular it has been Kyung reading Guri like a book. He's been in the right place at the right time constantly. Speaking of which, Guri caught out a little bit, or perhaps it's Taki that's caught. Spider Naught's away. He will go down, but can they turn something around in a 2v3 situation? No, Kyung's in so much trouble. Flashing away.
That's a nice little kill there for Aatrox in the top lane somehow. So he got punished instantly. That's really bad for Hasmid. He chose this matchup. He wanted to dominate the lane, and now he gets solo killed by Kratos. And we know Aatrox Guri, my guy, I'm not sure if you can actually do this. This looks a little precarious.
He's getting crushed.
There's Kyung. He could also die to this. Yep. What is happening?
That is Kyung. I was just praising him. I just praised him and he griefs.
That is really bad, because just in the span of 1 minute or 30 seconds even, top lane, there was counterpicked, loses in 1v1. Then Kyung, who picked his champion to get the grubs and snowball the game through top side, can't go there because his mid laner dies. And then he ends another kill to Kratos, so now the counter matchup in top lane is completely turned around. Hasmid is going to be quiet for the rest of the game, most likely, and Kyung lost his biggest advantage in this matchup as well. So out of nowhere, Vikings, yeah, they're still behind in gold, but I think they're actually in a really good position now.
I have to agree, as Kratos is going to bring out the wing. Hasmid immediately fate sealed away.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you can hear it yourself, but it sounds like something switches on and off, and like the volume jumps up and down. So I'm not sure if there's.
Yeah, I know what it is, but I don't know why. That's what we get. Yeah, I'm not.
Apologies.
My bad.
Let's see. I'll try to adjust for the higher volume. More disturbing to deal with. So please tell me if you can't hear Carrix anymore, but it should still be possible to hear him even on the lower volume. Yeah, now Hasmed, this is such a precarious spot because now no flash, no ultimate. He can't even get to this wave. He's a level behind already, and this can snowball in favor of Kratos really easily. And Aatrox, one item is so much better than Aatrox and no items, and he's close to it now. Kaki trying to counteract, but really nice ward there for Kratos to make sure that he's safe. There's the level advantage. He's now level 9. That's a lot of damage on the Q. Yeah, this is a struggle on the top side now for Hasmed.
Yeah, no doubt. He's sort of just getting bullied by Kratos as he goes back and forth. I need a sec. As we'll have to do it after. As Taki moving in has Kyung with him. Teleport's being used. They need to one-shot this Aatrox and then deal with whoever arrives.
Oh, the Ash Arrow.
Lovely Ash Arrow from downtown, keeping them safe.
Hello, damage?
Managed to get back. Hasmed kiting away. Kati can do nothing. He just doesn't do anything at this point.
Well, that was so depressing. That was one of the greatest cross-map Ash Arrows ever on the tower, and then Kati just sits there and doesn't do anything. That's AD LeBlanc for you, I guess. Can't really do much. Level 8 only has the burst damage with the first auto attack, and that was used to get the kill on Kyung, I believe. So, in the end, they kind of get away with a successful dive, because kill plus pressure is better than just the counter kill. Almost snowballed into the favor of Vikings horribly. If this goes wrong, Taki was the one dying, but no, Taki walked away, so it was Kyung indeed. But if Taki dies and then the Ash Arrow enables another kill on Ares, the game can really just be over, but fortunately for them, Kati doesn't deal any damage, and really nice cancel there from Hasmed as well, to deny the second activation of the Q. Could have been enough maybe to chase down Ares, but then Kati has to disengage and fear for his own life under his tower.
Very true. But now, as we've had a little bit of a fiesta for the last couple of minutes, both teams making good moves, making some terrible moves, we do settle into about 1,000 gold lead for Team Secret. However, those first grubs were secured by Vikings, so we're almost back to just level pegging.
Yeah, and they are going to come up. So that's one of the biggest points in the early game. If you get 5 grubs, that's a huge advantage, especially later on in the game. It doesn't actually do much early if you can't hit the towers. But once you hit Baron, if you have 5 grubs and Baron, that can really snowball so quickly to the end of the game. Because the added power of just pushing down towers with those little mini grubs or whatever they're called spawning, that can... That can be the deciding factor. So this is a huge fight. This is essentially what the first Rifthold fight has become this season. And Kyung has to be careful, but Kratos, yes, flash.
Kratos would be in trouble. The hook does land. Hasmed dealing damage. Up he goes with the death charge, but lovely stuff there.
Tanky.
Locking Hasmed out. Hasmed cannot follow up. Kratos will finally fall, but Hasmed going low as well. He's managing to do Yone things as they're turning it back around. Cardi low. Kairi, I should say, not Cardi. Guri will get out, but it's all Team Secret.
And I have to ask the question, what is happening to Vikings coordination? Why were they all stuck in the middle of nowhere in the river there? Like the call was clearly to contest this top fight, but then it's just 2v3, 2v4, and for some reason Kati just stays in the jungle. I guess he was intersected by someone from the other side. This is a huge win for Secret. They're 2k gold ahead, but more importantly, they deny the grubs. They will have better positioning to fight for the next dragon as well, especially with the stronger young form and the first item secured for Hasmed, who's suddenly back in the game with the Yona. Huge swing here at 14 minutes, and Team Secret are looking at a 2-0.
They're certainly set up for it your way. We also have Eddie completing his Blade of the Ruin King, is going that on-hit Varus. Well, let's have a look at the shenanigans up top.
Yeah, and look at the minimap. There are people coming into the top lane, but LeBlanc is just stuck there against the Varus and Eris. Varus, this is once again not the Varus, it's the Nico. So, Carty engages in this little scuffle there with Eris instead of trying to help his top side. And I'm not sure if he could have just walked up there. To be honest, I'm not impressed so far with his damage, so maybe the AD LeBlanc couldn't really have done anything in the fight anyway, but not the greatest coordination for Vikings. They really overestimated their damage and get punished heavily.
What they do? That 1K gold lead has become 2K. Kyung still in this Empress form as they move over to the Rift Herald, new and improved. God, I want to see some Rift Herald racing.
So the visuals are improved. I'm not sure if the objective in itself has been improved because
you get to ride in it now your way.
Yeah, it's awkward. But
you get to ride it.
They do secure it, and last game they managed to actually hit the tower with it. Let's see if the Rift Herald feels like driving towards the tower or feels like turning 180 degrees and just ending up in the middle of nowhere, which happens quite often as well.
Look onto Kratos. They follow it up with the Yone ult. Ash Arrow will buy him quite a lot of time, but does go down in the end. Teleport from Carty. W's forward. Has Guri coming. Targi should be going down here, but it's still not a bad trade at all for Team Secret.
Can Hasmet do anything here? Nope. Just one kill back to Carty, but yeah, look at this. They bought so much time in the middle.
Yep, out pops Kyung. They get that tier 1 tower and open the mid lane up.
Perfect use of the objectives, perfect use of the just map play in general. Team Secret looking so much better across 3 lanes, and this has always been their strongest point. I talked about this a bit in the last game as well. Their coordination, their macro across all the different lanes and coordinating attacks, points of attack and pressure. This has always been their strong suit. They were the best team for some time in terms of mid-game macro, and once again showing up strong here. First series of the year. A lot of teams still look sloppy, look a little bit unpracticed, especially when it comes to macro at the start of the season, but Team Secret ain't prepared.
They certainly did. They looked like they came to play. Team Secret as an organization has always been sort of that bridesmaid, never the bride. The sort of perpetually third place for quite some time. The team that we don't quite talk about. Maybe this is their split, with Garm seemingly going perhaps a little bit of a budget route. This is their split, maybe.
Yeah, and a lot of their players are really high-quality players. Like, they're all of these players follow the same kind of trajectory as the team in general, right? Like, high-quality players, but maybe not quite the number one in their position. We have Eddie, Prodigy, Taki has been to multiple finals. Hasmet, of course, long-standing, second-best top laner for a long time. Young, the new jungle Prodigy, but maybe not quite there yet. So, all of them put together, maybe this is their year.
Guri will step up to an angry Kyung. Might have been a bit of a mistake, but flag and drag is a good spell, as he does get out.
Yeah, look at Guri this game round. Last game he went for the usual bruiser route. This game he opted into full tank mode, which with modern Jarvan games we don't really see all too often. Remember back in season 5, 6, 7 when Jarvan was just straight up going tank every game? It's not really what people like to do nowadays. His bruiser builds.
Frozen Heart is insane this game.
And especially against something like Hyang, which of course is one of the, I think the highest attack speed champion in the game, more than 0.8 as base scaling. So reducing attack speed for a champion like Belveth goes a long way. So super efficient item, you get there very, very quickly, and you have 2 champions that build full attack speed. So that's certainly the reason for this build, but it still looks a little awkward there with no damage whatsoever, as my stream, unfortunately, to halt. Let's fix that.
Apologies, everybody. We are fixing that up as fast as we can. Oh, hello. I didn't know we were on camera. Hi. How we doing?
Well, my internet is
How?
not doing well, unfortunately. I'm not sure why.
Oh, well, I
Uh,
mean, it's interesting given that you seem to be able to have the stream up, but not the YouTube stream. Interesting. We'll get this fixed as soon as possible. But your way so far, how are you feeling about these two teams?
oh, there's okay. Maybe it's not on me actually,
Oh, it may well be.
because
Okay.
the YouTube stream just ended, and
Yeah, I'm
that
seeing
is
other
not
people
on me. I
report
think,
that
yeah.
we do have a sap.
Okay, well, more time for us to talk about these teams. I think they're super exciting. I think these are two of the teams to watch, and in my opinion, I mean, obviously, I'm a big fan of Vikings because they have a lot of cool players. I like Shogun. I think my favorite storyline for this whole year is definitely the Kati against Gam players debate, because if you think about it, Gam is the team everyone thinks about as the big team that has won everything, and that's true. But actually, it's not so much Gam; it's actually just Kati. Wherever he goes, he wins the title. He's on 6 titles. He has more titles than Kiaya, which sounds insane, but is actually the case
Yeah.
because he won 2 titles in 2020.
He beat them those 2 splits on Flash.
And they just joined forces, right, for them all to win the titles. But now they're finally separated again. So now this season, this split is actually where we get to find out, was it Kati or was it Levi? Or Levi and Kiaya together, I guess. Because for all
Yeah, I
this
was
time,
gonna say.
they've just been together and are just accruing title after title, just stacking them up, piling them up in the cabinet. But now they're finally separated again, so maybe Kati can show everyone that it's actually just Levi and Kiaya that get carried, not the other way around.
That would genuinely be one of the funniest things of all time. If after getting flamed, like he goes to MSI, everyone goes, Cardi's the problem. Go to Worlds. Garm, you had a good run, but you got to get rid of this Cardi guy. They get rid of him, and he's the one that wins the split. That would be possibly the funniest thing possible. But we do have the VCS back on your screens. Doesn't seem. Wait. How? Oh, we time traveled your way.
Yeah, a bit, like a minute or two, I think. Not, oh wait, look at Hasmet.
There are three dragons. Hasmet's 5-1.
Hasmet is 5-1.
It's happened again, your way.
I mean, it's VCS. What do you expect? This is part of the course, and unfortunately, it doesn't look likely that we're going to see the 1v1, because Team Secret now in a really strong position, 1 dragon away, but Hasmet has just died, so maybe there's a little bit of a chance still for Vikings. They're quite far behind now in terms of items and even scaling, I would argue, with Ashe more geared towards early lane domination, but...
Oh god, oh no, husband, this is embarrassing.
That's a 900 gold shutdown just for playing, like... He needs a few more lessons from Froggy, I think, because he was known for his Yona. Hasmet not so much.
Yeah, unfortunately, while we were time traveling, evidently it was Husmed playing, but as soon as we came back, it was Husmid.
Well, good for us. I want to see the 1v1. I'm so hyped for that.
I think that's so cool. Just to explain, if you do not follow the VCS English Twitter, which you should, by the way, the way side select is decided, if Vikings wins this game, they play a 1v1 like magma chamber style to get side select for game 3. We're really keen to see it. I think it's like so much fun.
Yeah, and there have already been so many shenanigans with that in the PCS, which I believe started yesterday or 2 days ago. So they've had almost no time, and there have already been clips that have made their way to Reddit. So I feel like this could be a highlight of this year's VCS action, just the insanity that 1v1 provides. And I mean, think back to all the 1v1 tournaments we have had in the past, like...
I will say, I think they need to spin a wheel, and it's like, one of the options is just a normal 1v1, then you've got like Scion drifting, Mundo dodgeball.
Mundo dodgeball, yeah.
Like, you have to play 2 rounds of Teemo hide and seek.
Why even play Summoners Rift games, honestly?
Honestly!
Just arena for the outcome. Oh, we have a different Baron pit this time. So last time we had the
airport, Baron, as I call this one.
The airport. I like that. That's a good name. Yeah,
Yeah, he
this
comes
one is
straight
really
down the
awkward
strip.
to play because
It is.
if you're a carry, you do not want to be in that little airport section of the thing because
No.
that is not great
Because
into Nico.
the plane will land.
Imagine playing against Nico and you're stuck in that little section of the map. That's just doom. There's nothing for you to do. But then again, the enemy team has to deal with an Aatrox in a straight line. That's not great either, as we had a team
Hang
fight.
on, in goes Guri. Cataclysm dropped. There was a stuffed engage from Team Secret, but it doesn't really matter when they get that big pop. Blossom Kyung will get the first kill. They're trying.
Husband!
Husband has an angle. Fate sealed over the wall. Picks up the first kill onto Kratos as he wants to chase down the rest. Nico getting one for herself. The Vikings have been dismembered. 4 are dead. I should say, no, 3 are dead. Kairi limping away, as is Kati Kyung following. Can he quite catch up to this Braum? I don't think he can. But I don't think it matters as they are just battering down the front door.
I mean, Team Secret just looks better at all stages of the game. Better early game for the most part. Maybe not better laning phase, but way better coordination in the mid game. Their engages have been amazing in both of these games. Their coordination between the players in team fights.
Vikings looking for a miracle. They actually do have the health bar advantage here. So they are coming out of their base. The towers have fallen. Husband just hitting the Nexus. He's not going to be able to do it. Could try and pick up a kill onto Kati on the way out. But no. Well played by Kati. And the Vikings live for another day as Team Secret got a bit too hungry for the finish.
That's a backdoor opportunity now for the side of Secret.
I mean, this is Baron, surely.
Should be. And with Baron, that buys a lot of time because backdooring a Baron team is really hard. But then again, there's also the 4th dragon on the map right now, so they have to deny that as well. They have to walk straight from Baron, which, by the way, looks super cool in this new season, in my opinion.
Oh,
Look
God,
at him.
Don't die.
They have to walk straight to the dragon. I'm not sure if they can. Will they try?
I feel like they kind of need to. Cardi can back. He has teleport. So does Kratos.
The fights are decided in a matter of like 2-3 seconds, so maybe Ocean Soul doesn't actually matter too much. A lot of squishy champions, so Ocean Soul really doesn't shine on any of these champions too much. I mean, in the side lane, Husmid would like it, but in a full-on team fight, I don't think Ocean Soul is gonna really change much of how the fights are going to be played, so more acceptable loss of a soul, I believe, and with the Baron in their hands, they will buy a few more minutes and maybe make it over to the Elder Dragon once again. We had an Elder Dragon standoff twice in the last game, and they actually lost to an Elder Dragon. So, on par, or on course, I would say, to once again get backdoored when they try to go for the Elder Dragon.
Don't want to get backdoored twice.
By the way, how disgusting is this new Yona build?
Oh, they tried. In goes Husband. Cardi doing well. Might try and just trade 1 for 1. He is a LeBlanc, can waste a huge amount of time. I don't really think
he's still alive. Yes, Red Buff.
He's still alive as the snapback comes in. He's gonna get his W.
No!
Back up. Oh,
Grom, what did he? Oh no, the W hit the Grom. No.
Gromp is Nico's friend, so he helped out.
Oh, that's amazing. I just realized he has an IE. What in the hell? What is going on?
What are we doing, Team Secret? You are outnumbered.
Wow. It was one of the laziest over pushes I've ever seen. Just completely disregarded everything that was going on in the game. Just walked up mid lane for no reason whatsoever. Well,
year after year, the rest of the world improves, but the VCS, we keep the fiesta.
This was nicely done by Kati. I'm still a little bit... Oh, never mind. No time for that.
We come back to live and we have an immediate fight as Guri has fallen. Kyung
Oh, Shogun!
His way out, slowed up, doing well, but Husband goes down.
Wait, can we end the game here? T1 style?
Defend. They have the Baron. They're teleporting Kati in. Husband dead for a long time. This might be the throw of the century your way.
If they manage to lose from this position...
Call, like, whatever the big baseball league is, give them a call, because we've got you.
Do you want to engage here, Taki? I'm not sure about this, but Kratos is slow.
They're having to think. Kratos is slow.
Oh, Nico!
Light it up. massive pot blossom going in. They're going to win this fight. Outnumbered your way. 2 kills for the Nautilus. Kairi running away. Door in hand. Flash forward from Ares will send him packing. And with no Nexus towers available, Husband has TP in 6 seconds.
Yeah, they don't. They can just walk. You don't need to care about the minions. Ares, okay, Ares just realized. Okay, but someone shouted at him. And here comes Guri. He just wants to get on top of Eddie because Eddie has the most pushing power, of course. So get rid of Eddie. I'm not sure if it's enough because Ares and Kiang have more than enough damage, and Team Secret is just gonna win the series.
That they are. They just pick that up. How have they done this? What an ending sequence to the game.
Yeah, that was a bit silly. VCS is back. Bang is in game 1 and silliness in game 2. That's all we get here. Honestly, that's all we came for as well. A little bit disappointing from the side of Vikings. They have a lot to improve in terms of just sharpness, I feel like, in the game. A lot of things, a lot of situations where they just look a step slower when it comes to decision making, just not quite as on the ball as Team Secret, which looked amazing, to be honest, but mechanics look good from both teams, and yeah, Secret with a much, much better mid-game and even teamfight execution in series number 1.
Yeah, Team Secret off to a good start here in the league. It doesn't matter how you get over the line. All that matters is that you do get over the line.
2-0. I'm very disappointed not to be able to see that 1v1 action, but it's gonna come sooner or later, so we have to be patient, we have to wait for it, and maybe someone else can surprise us. For a second there, I thought one of the Team Secret players really wanted to go to the magma chamber.
Yeah, one of them calling out, "Go, guys, I had a really fun 1v1 pick. My Heimerdinger, it's crazy." Oh boy.
What's going to be the method for that one?
You've got it. Who's like the bestest raw 1v1? If you're a cracked Yasuo, maybe.
Always things like Caitlyn's.
Yeah, true.
High range.
True. Anyway, that is the ending of the first series. Good job on that solo cast of game 1 your way. I was happy to help you out in game 2. Who knows if it made it better? But that is concluding the debut of Vikings. Not the best start up against Team C.
Yep, and I think I'll stop the stream for now, I believe, because we have to sort out some things, and let's see when we're going to be back, either for the next series or tomorrow. I'm not quite sure about that one. Sorry for the spontaneous changes here and there. Yeah, who can pronounce that word? But whatever the case, we're going to be back at some point, and happy to have you. Happy to see some VCS action, and yeah, have a good day, everyone.